If there is a need for a legislative fix, we will do it, and we'll file a bill to do so, and I'm sure it'll get a lot of support.
State Representative Lulu Flores is one of 2 state lawmakers pledging to address a tax exemption loophole we highlighted in a recent investigation. As investigator Mike Rush explains, it involves Texas veterans who, in some cases, might not get a property tax exemption they've earned.
Nearly 30 years after he crashed his car while serving in the Army Reserves, Keith Romell still feels the effects of the injuries. He's a 100% disabled veteran, which means he doesn't have to pay property taxes. But last year, when he bought this house in East Austin, his exemption slipped through the cracks, causing him to pay thousands of dollars in taxes. Here's why.
Let's go.
When Romell bought this home in May 2023, it was a newly built condo. But property value is appraised based on the state of the property on January 1st each year. And in January 2023, a developer owned the land and was in the process of splitting it into 2 condos, one which became Romell's.
There you go, good girl.
The Travis Central Appraisal District, TCAD, says since Romell's condo and new address did not exist at the start of the year, he could not use his exemption on his new home for the remainder of that year. In our original reporting,
there just may need to be a little more tightening up on these exemptions.
We spoke with longtime Austin tax attorney Lori Michelle, who disagreed with TCAD's interpretation of the tax code.
I'm thinking he should have had it.
After KXAN brought the issue to Michelle's attention, she reached out to State Senator Paul Bettencourt's office to try to change the law. Bettencourt owns a tax consulting company in Houston, previously served as the Harris County tax assessor for 10 years, and in 2019,
for every taxpayer in the state, their property tax rate is coming down substantially.
Authored major property tax reform legislation. The senator tells me his office is looking into the matter and the possibility of tweaking the law.
Quite frankly, if it wasn't for y'all's investigative report, we wouldn't have heard about it. And at the end of the day, we may have to clarify this to make it crystal clear.
Well, I think that's great. I mean, that was my goal all along.
Romell says he believes KXAN's investigation helped elevate conversations he's been having for a few months with the office of his state representative, Lulu Flores.
It shouldn't be rocket science.
Flores tells me she's committed to coming up with a solution.
Maybe we need to clarify in the legislation that the exemption travels with the individual, that whatever exemption they have or are entitled to applies to that property, regardless of whether it was on the rolls or not.
Romell's exemption did kick in for 2024 and beyond, and while he will not get the money back that he spent on property taxes in 2023, he supports a change.
It'll help somebody else from being caught in this situation in the future.
Mike Rush, State of Texas.
If the lawmakers determine the law does need clarification, they'd introduce measures next year when the legislature meets again. The Texas Comptroller's Office told us the approval or denial of exemptions is made at the local appraisal district level, and the districts may have different interpretations of how exemptions should be applied. We reached out to neighboring appraisal districts to see how they would handle this situation. You can see their responses in our digital story. Look for it on our website in this week's State of Texas story.
What it shows more than anything else is Texas is open for business.
Texas moves closer to getting its own stock exchange. We dig into what that could mean for the state's economy and why it's bringing new questions about a key investor. More Texans head to hospitals, but not enough nurses are staffing them. We look at one step the state is now taking to help fix the shortages.